Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with the next layout for the She's Crafty mini paper pad class. And I will have the links as always down below for anyone else who is participating or creating videos for this class. And the sketch there is up in the corner. And for this layout, I do stay pretty close to the sketch, at least where the layout of the photos and most of the embellishing goes. The first thing that I am doing here is just going to create some texture on my background with this stencil and some speckled egg distress ink. And then I am going to add some stamping here. And I was just showing you there that sometimes what I will do with some of my stamps, especially things like this where it's just journaling lines, it had some additional brackets on this journaling line, and I just cut them off. I can always add them and stamp them back down if I ever wanted the brackets on this journaling stamp, but I cut them apart because I will use these lines more than if the brackets were there. So don't be afraid to cut your stamps. I know that most people would gasp and think that that was kind of crazy, but definitely make them work for you, just like you do with your embellishments. Make your stamps work for you. Especially if it's something that's not super detailed, it's really easy to cut them apart. Now, once I had my stamping down, I did use the Catherine Pooler color in the color Polished. And then I am just going to take some of my Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine and just do some splatters on the background. And I know that a lot of times when I do the splatters, it looks like there's a ton, but ultimately a good portion of this, as I've always said, gets covered up. So I tend to do more than what you would normally think is needed, because what I usually find is that I've covered up most of the mixed media that I do in the first place. So now I have set my background off to the side to dry, and we are going to work with the photos. Now we are scrapbooking 2 photos today. I know the sketch calls for 3, but I am only going to use 2. And I am scrapbooking my cat, or one of my cats, and he was all curled up in my daughter's bed, all cuddled down in her blankets. He is quite the spoiled kitten, and so she had actually taken these pictures and he was pretty cute, all cuddled up, and so that is what I'm going to scrapbook here. Now for this layout today, I have gone back to this, so this is going to be my second layout using the IM collection. So I've gone back to this collection and I basically just kept together sort of all the embellishments and things that I had pulled for the first layout, and so I'm going to end up using a bit more of what I had pulled and just kept together after the first layout. Most of actually what ends up going on this page is a lot of fussy cutting that I end up doing from the floral papers that were actually in this 6x8 paper pad. So I do end up using quite a bit of that paper pad up because I end up fussy cutting quite a few things. But in any case, all of these different papers here, I pulled 3 different patterns from that 6x8, and I just took them and I'm layering them up and creating some mats for each of the photos. Now off camera, I just showed there, I did go ahead and with a scrap of one of the pattern papers, I did do some scallop borders. And I did 2 of those in that floral, and I'm going to just cut one apart to use under each of the photos. And then I also took some washi tape that was already in the shape of a scallop, put it on some white cardstock and cut it out. I have a black and a gold, and I'm going to use those on the page as well. So this is all in keeping with the scallop edge that you see underneath the photos. I'm just adding a couple extra scallops as well as adding a scallop piece to the strip of embellishments that are at the top of the page. Now I am still waiting for my background to dry, so I'm again taking more scraps that I had left over from the first layout, and I am just going to trim up a few pieces as some banners that are going to go up there in that top cluster to kind of mirror the same embellishments that are on the sketch. And so how you see it here, I have gone off camera, glued all of that together so you didn't have to watch that, and went ahead and added it to my background. So my background is now dry, and I have basically the main elements of how this layout is going to come together. Next comes the fun part of putting all the embellishing on this layout, and my clusters are embellishment heavy for sure. Most of it is actually paper because, like I said, I did fussy cut from the papers in this collection a lot of the florals. So that is what I'm going to use for the majority of this page. And you see me here, I've built the top cluster, and now I'm working on this first photo and the cluster. When I go off camera to glue everything down, you will see a few things did kind of move in placement, but for the most part, everything that you see me putting in the clusters does stay on the page. I don't end up taking anything away. I do sort of end up moving a few things around, but other than that, it pretty much stays as you see it. The cameras and the florals all came from the paper. The birds that you see me using, I created the top one as a watercolored stamped bird from the first layout that I did not use, and the other two birds are from a Maggie Holmes chipboard set, and so I am going to use those in my other clusters. And now I am bringing in my title, which again, I will put this all down off camera, but as I was telling you, this kitten is quite spoiled, and so of course I went with the title Cute But Oh So Spoiled, because he definitely is. Neither one of our cats are super loving and want to sit in your lap a whole lot, but they definitely love to take over the bed and all over whatever space they want to lay in for sure. And this one gets his way quite a bit. So that is kind of what we are documenting for this picture. So finishing touches for this layout, I have just added some puffy hearts as well as some punched gold glitter hearts, and that is going to call it done for this page. So once I put these last few little pieces up here in the top cluster, you will see the still photos coming up in just a minute. And with that, guys, I will call this layout done. So be sure to check out everyone who is playing along in the description box below. I will also have the Facebook group in the description box as well. Be sure to check that out for additional inspiration. And with that, guys, here are the still photos, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.